Good evening from wherever you're watching across Uganda. This evening, yes, this is your host, Patrick Kamara, back on the hot seat to drive your favorite talk show on the spot. Now tonight, drums of war are being sounded and two countries are on the brink of an all-out war. South Sudan, which until recently had captured the Heglig oil field belonging to the north, now has to contend with daily bombardments from the Sudanese armed forces as fighter jets hover above. The South Sudanese army is digging in anticipation of a major ground assault on Africa's youngest nation. While the international community has urged the two countries to return to negotiating table, the appeal is falling on deaf ears. In fact, President Salva Kiir of South Sudan had threatened to retake Heglig oil field if the bombings don't cease. On its part, Khartoum has referred to the South Sudanese army as insects that will be taught a lesson by force. New intelligence information indicate LRA leader Joseph Kony is once again on the Sudanese soil getting support from Khartoum. The stakes are high, and tonight we ask, what is Uganda's strategy on the Sudan conflict? Our guest tonight is the State Minister for International Affairs, Honorable Oryem. Welcome. You're on the spot.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, just to begin with, what is the relationship like between Sudan and Uganda, Khartoum and Kampala?
Well, it could be better. We think that we are working towards a more improved relations. We think that it could be cordial and warmer. We have challenges, but here in Kampala, we're doing everything possible to ensure that the relationship between Uganda and Sudan, our neighbors, improve as it should be between two neighboring states.
Doing everything possible meaning what? Because I gather Kampala and Khartoum are not on talking points. In fact, you are talking through a third party, through IGAD. Is that right?
It is true. And
is that what you call something good?
That's why I said we're working towards it. That's why I said that it could be improved. Historically, we've had challenges with, you'll recollect that at one point we did not have even diplomatic relations between Uganda and Sudan. We broke out diplomatic relations, yes. But eventually we managed to repair that. Today we have ambassadors in both capitals. But even then there were challenges that Khartoum for many years supported the LRA, which you are aware was causing heinous crimes in Uganda.
If we have exchanged ambassadors between Khartoum and Sudan, why wouldn't you be on talking terms? Why are you talking on third term, on third party basis?
It is the challenge that we have at the moment. In that the cooperation that we expected from our neighbors is not as forthcoming as we should expect. Hence, at the opening of this program, I told you that it could be better.
Okay, what we know is that Uganda, through the Chief of Defense Forces, General Ronda Nyakairima, in a way has sounded the drum of war by saying if South Sudan is attacked, Uganda is not going to stand by and watch and let it happen. They'll get in. Isn't that a drum of war you sound?
I think that, with due respect, I think the General Aronda, the CDF, has been misunderstood. And General Aronda's interests, like any other head of the armed forces, in this case the UPDF, is the interest of the people of Uganda to ensure that our country is protected.
Honorable, probably you are not. Let me give you the quotation, which has been quoted by the BBC, by the Sudan Tribune, by all the media houses in Uganda. We will not sit by and do nothing. We'll be involved, having suffered a proxy war by Khartoum. By a Chief of Defense Forces of the Ugandan army.
Yes, and I totally agree with him that if the interests of Uganda, if the security of the people of Uganda, if the interest of this country is threatened, then the UPDF got the right to protect the interests to its very logic.
He was referring if South Sudan is attacked.
Yes, if South Sudan is attacked in such a way that it threatens our security and the interests of this country and the people of this country, then we're not just going to stand around and watch while our country, our security is interfered with.
Okay,
I think it makes logic.
So you agree with him? Or let me play for you. Let me play for you a clip where General Ronda said this, because maybe you may think that this.
I have talked to General Ronda. I do not
Okay,
have.
okay,
I don't
for
have
the
to listen.
purposes
I don't
of-
have to listen to the BBC, to listen to you, to read the papers. I deal with Ronda on a first-hand basis.
Okay, for the
and I
purpose,
talk to him
for the
on a
purpose
regular
of that
basis.
person listening to us and watching us at night, let me play for you that clip from General Ronda.
Apart in the region, the member states, more so for Uganda, we will not sit by, just sit by and do nothing when such a war takes place. In one way or another, we will be involved, because having suffered a proxy war imposed on us by Khartoum for 22 years, now we are told the LRA, remaining with about 200 guns, is again in contact. This is intelligence in contact with Khartoum. So we will make sure that we are alert.
You see, you're reading here. It talks about the threat by Khartoum, and it links it up with the LRA. Now, if the threat here is the LRA, if in any form or manner anybody supports, assists the LRA in this confusion, and that causes insecurity to our country, I think it will be imprudent and irresponsible for the UPDF just to stand by and watch.
Okay, this is how it has given some boost to the government in South Sudan. For example, quoting the Minister of State for Information and Media, Dr. Barnaba Mario Benjamin, Uganda is our next door neighbor and has right to express her concern. If the current aggression by Sudan continues to the extent that it becomes a regional issue, Uganda should come in. Benjamin Mario Barnaba. You see how that quotation was picked by people. So they think they have you on their backs.
Yes, of course, I have to emphasize, and I'll tell this authoritatively, that if the security of the people of Uganda, through indirectly or indirectly, is threatened, then our armed forces should do the responsible thing and ensure that that threat is repulsed.
But isn't that warmongering kind of talk?
It's not warmongering, it's straight talk. And
As a country, Uganda, we don't share a border, for heaven's sake, with Sudan.
Sudan is our neighbor.
We
just
share
like
we share a border with South Sudan.
Just like Burundi is our neighbor. So to all extent, for all intents and purposes, in terms of diplomatic relations, in terms of geographical location, Sudan is our neighbor just as much as Burundi is our neighbor. So we do not, we take the issues of Sudan as serious as we take the issues of Burundi.
We know this country has a history of intervening in the region. You have intervened in Rwanda, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in Burundi. So I put it to you. Are we going to see you intervene? Are we going to see you intervene?
And for all,
on behalf of South Sudan?
And all for sound reasons. That's why we're even in Somalia. You forgot to tell the world that we're in Somalia.
Okay.
Today you're enjoying peace. Today you're enjoying tranquility. Today enjoying prosperity. You're enjoying growth in this country because the UPDF has ensured that this Great Lakes region today is secure and more stable than it was a few years ago.
Okay, this is what is happening. The Sudanese president, General Bashir, has referred to the army in South Sudan as insects that will be totally lessened by force. In fact, that is comparable to what the Hutu genocidal enterprise said in reference to the Tutsi community as cockroaches. Looks like the genocide could unfold. Are you going to stand by and watch?
It is very unfortunate that that kind of language is used by a head of state. As you said, it is a similar language that was used in the Rwanda genocide. I do hope that it did not mean it, and it was something which was said in the stir of the moment. But I think that if anything, or if genocide were to emerge in the region, I don't think it's Uganda's responsibility. Only Uganda will stand and watch. I think the international community will come like a ton of bricks on anybody who attempts to commit any form of genocide, and there will be nobody who is an exception to it.
Do we, as a country, do you, as your government, have the military capability to take on SPAF? the Sudanese People's Armed Forces?
We have the capacity. I can assure you the UPDF has the capacity today to defend the borders of Uganda through thick and thin. Just as it's always done, we have the capacity, so nobody should take us lightly. I can assure the people of Uganda that their country is safe and we have the capacity to repulse anybody who threatens their security.
Because of just a few fighter jets bought recently at $750 million.
We have the UPDF is the most disciplined, the most organized, the most experienced army in the region. Hence, that is why we went to Somalia, where the United States Army went to Somalia, failed. We went to Somalia and did what even the United States Army could not do in Somalia.
You have your own trouble here. You have your own man, Joseph Kony, a ragtag army that has defied you and exposed the weakness of the UPDF for more than 20 years. Where is the visibility, the capability, the organizational skills, and the fighting spirit and the morale of your troops? If you cannot capture just one man in the jungles of the DRC, and you stand up and say, we're the best on the continent?
The NRA is a defeated force.
No, but
Joseph Kony
it's like you have a monkey on your back and you're calling the U.S. Special Forces to come and help you.
Joseph Kony is defeated. He's on the run with his tail between his legs. And he has got no capacity to face and fight today. He is hiding like a rat in a hole. And, you know, if it was not because of the Pan-African spirit that Uganda exercises, it was not the kind of spirit of Africanism that we have. We would say today, comfortably sit back and say, well, Joseph Kony is not in Uganda anymore. He's a South African Republic. It's not our problem, and let him be there. But because we feel that this is our responsibility, we feel like we're in the Pan-African spirit, the same Pan-African spirit that took us to Somalia. We say that no, Joseph Kony is still a thorn in the flesh in this region. We'll use our UPDF forces to continue.
Before we go fully to the Joseph Kony subject, I again put it to you on the issue of Sudan. Your talk, is it coming from the feeling that the international community is going to back you up? That's why you're having this war chest.
No, we are confident of ourselves. We don't.
You've just mentioned here that the international community will not stand by. Are you having the illusion?
The international community will not stand by. If any country in this region and beyond attempts to do the same kind of genocidal situation that arose in Rwanda, that's what I'm saying. That if such a situation were to attempt to reoccur in any country in Africa and beyond, I don't think the international community will stand by.
Where has been the international community in Darfur? Where has been the international community in Numba Mountains?
They're there, but you see the extent of the problem in these regions you're talking about is not the extent of the problem we have in Rwanda. We're talking about the situation which was in Rwanda, and I don't think that the international community would allow that kind of situation to repeat again in the region.
So you have special forces helping you in the Congo. The latest information indicating that Joseph Kony is actually not in South Sudan, but somewhere in Bahar Gazelle, region of Sudan. Are we going to see you carry out a preemptive strike on your man in the Sudan, northern Sudan?
I think the UPDF, assisted by the 100 American specialists who give us intelligence and technical assistance. I think were we to, or were they to identify wherever Joseph Kony is, they will give the UPDF an opportunity to move in and either capture him or kill him, wherever he is.
But how do you think that an army which is using gadgets that may not comply, I mean, in the jungles, I mean, how do you expect the American force, 100 and your soldiers, to hunt for just one man walking on foot, who's not using any communication gadgets, and you're combing an entire region is more than 400 kilometers long, and a jungle? Isn't that a blind?
It is a challenge. I totally agree with you. It is like looking for what they say, a needle in a haystack.
But the problem with you looking for a needle in a haystack, but this time in a wrong haystack.
But you see,
it's not the haystack where the needle even has fallen. You are in a wrong haystack because the man is in Sudan and you are in Central African Republic. That's even a different day.
I'm surprised you're telling me you're in Sudan. Where do you get the information?
Listen,
Get that
today,
information? Because if he is there, if he's there, one thing I can assure you is that Joseph Kony is not stagnant. He is mobile 24 hours. So today it might be in Sudan, tomorrow it might be in South African Republic, tomorrow it might be in the DRC. So to assume that he's sitting somewhere as a sitting target is wrong. We're dealing with a person.
I am picking words of the spokesperson of the UPDF, Colonel Felix Kulaije, who claims they captured one prisoner of war with the Sudanese uniform, brand new, and is telling them that their commander, Joseph Kony, is in the Sudan. So there is intelligence indication that Kony is no longer in Central African Republic. Before you answer that question, we're going for a short break. When we come back, we take on Honorable Oryem on the possibility of the Ugandan army, the Sudanese army, Central African Republic, and the special forces being able to capture the elusive Joseph Kony. Don't go away.